Let's be clear, Black America has been dealt a difficult hand. Our history is stained with the blood and sweat of ancestors who fought for basic human dignity. From the moment our feet touched this soil, we were deemed less than, unworthy, and undeserving of the opportunities afforded to others. This is not hyperbole. It is a brutal, unfiltered truth. This essay will not sugarcoat the realities faced by Black Americans. We will delve into the darkest chapters of our past, confronting the legacy of slavery, segregation, and systemic racism. We will examine the scars left by the Three-Fifths Compromise and the suffocating grip of Jim Crow. But this is not just a story of oppression. It is also a testament to our resilience, our unwavering spirit, and our determination to rise above the ashes of injustice. We will explore the evolving landscape of opportunities fueled by the internet and a hunger for education. This is a call to action, a blueprint for financial empowerment. We will equip you with the knowledge and tools to build generational wealth and secure your rightful place in this nation's prosperity. Prepare to challenge the status quo, embrace your power, and rewrite the narrative of Black America. The 19th century dawned with black bodies still shackled in chains. Even after emancipation, the chains morphed into different forms: black codes, sharecropping, and relentless terror. The South, in particular, became a breeding ground for white supremacy. It manifested itself in heinous acts of violence and codified discrimination. This was not just a Southern problem. Throughout the nation, Black Americans faced segregation in housing, education, and employment. The North might not have had whites-only signs, but the message was clear. Black people were not welcome. This segregation was deliberate, systematic, and designed to keep Black America economically and socially disadvantaged. The Great Migration offered a glimmer of hope. Millions of Black Americans fled the Jim Crow South, seeking refuge and opportunity in the industrial North. While the North offered a respite from some of the overt racism of the South, it was not a promised land. Black migrants faced discrimination in housing, employment, and education. They were relegated to overcrowded ghettos, trapped in a cycle of poverty and despair. The Three-Fifths Compromise, enshrined in the very fabric of our Constitution, laid bare the dehumanization at the heart of this nation's founding. This compromise, reached during the 1787 Constitutional Convention, classified enslaved Africans as 3/5 of a person for the purpose of determining representation in Congress. Think about that for a moment. Black people, considered less than human, used as pawns to inflate the political power of Southern states. This compromise was not an oversight. It was a calculated decision that would have far-reaching consequences for generations to come. The legacy of the Three-Fifths Compromise reverberated through history. It fueled the expansion of slavery, entrenched the power of slave-holding states, and shaped the political landscape for decades. This compromise was a stark reminder that black lives were valued less than white lives. This devaluation of black humanity continues to cast a long shadow on our nation. Section 4. The Iron Grip of Jim Crow. After the Civil War, Reconstruction offered a brief glimmer of hope. Black Americans, empowered by the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, began to exercise their newfound freedom. They voted, held political office, and sought to rebuild their lives. But this progress was met with fierce resistance. White Southerners, enraged by the erosion of their power, unleashed a reign of terror. The Ku Klux Klan and other white supremacist groups terrorized black communities, using violence and intimidation to suppress black voting rights. Jim Crow laws were enacted, systematically stripping black Americans of their hard-won freedoms. These laws permeated every aspect of life in the South. Separate schools, hospitals, restaurants, and even cemeteries became the norm. The message was clear. Black people were not welcome in white spaces. These laws were not just about separation. They were about maintaining a racial hierarchy where whites held all the power and black people were relegated to second-class citizenship. Section 5. Echoes of the Past. The civil rights movement of the 1950s and 1960s marked a turning point in the fight for racial equality, led by courageous men and women like Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and Rosa Parks. Black Americans challenged segregation, demanded voting rights, and fought for their rightful place at the table. The movement's victories were hard-won, often achieved through blood, sweat, and tears. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965 dismantled legal segregation and outlawed discriminatory voting practices. These landmark achievements marked a significant step forward in the fight for racial justice. But the fight was far from over. The legacy of slavery and Jim Crow continued to cast a long shadow on American society. Systemic racism persisted, manifesting itself in disparities in education, healthcare, housing, and criminal justice. The echoes of the past continued to reverberate, reminding us that the struggle for equality was far from over. Section 6. Breaking free from the mold. For decades, black excellence was often relegated to limited niches. We were told to excel in sports, music, or entertainment if we wanted to succeed. While these fields showcased the undeniable talent within our community, they also served as a dangerous distraction. These avenues, while celebrating black talent, often masked the systemic barriers that kept so many trapped in poverty. The narrative became, look, they can sing and dance, so they must be doing fine. This harmful narrative ignored the millions struggling with poverty, lack of opportunity, and failing schools. The rise of the internet shattered this limited view. Suddenly, a world of information and opportunity opened up for everyone, regardless of race or zip code. Black entrepreneurs, innovators, and creators emerged, disrupting industries and rewriting the rules of the game. This digital revolution empowered a new generation to control their narratives, build businesses, and showcase their talents on a global stage. It wasn't just about escaping predefined boxes. It was about building new ones on our terms. The internet became a tool for empowerment, education, and economic advancement.